After its announcement over 5 months ago, Bonelab has been getting a lot of hype, and over those 5 months we've collected more and more information about what exactly this game is going to feature. And so as of September 2022, here is everything we know about Bonelab. The game will be available on the Quest 2, PC VR headsets, and later down the line most likely the PSVR 2. According to the game's Steam page, the story goes as follows. Sentenced to death, you embody an outcast escaping fate, discovering a pathway to an underground hidden research facility. A series of challenging experiments and discoveries await. A road to the truth calls from the void. From the look of it, after you finish the story mode, you will have access to arenas, obstacle courses, tactical trials, sandboxes, experimental modes, and user-generated levels. And to make all these experiences 10 times better, Bonelab will feature realistic physics even better than those found in its predecessor, Boneworks. These physics will not just apply to enemies and objects, but also yourself. According to Brandon from Stress Level 0, you will be able to import custom avatars with realistic physical stats to match. This basically means that skinnier avatars will be much weaker but also much more agile, and larger avatars will be much slower but much stronger. You can actually see this in the beginning of Bonelab's trailer when the player tosses a dice to select a random avatar and then moves their hands up and down along their torso to tailor the avatar to their actual size. You can also see the player using what looks like a noose to accurately proportion and shape their head. The physics come into play when you start exploring an abandoned research facility underground where most of the game's trials seem to take place. It also looks like when you are climbing on a ledge, your feet will actually touch the wall like they would in real life. In this facility, you will have to use physics to your advantage to overcome obstacle courses and defeat enemies. Most of these enemies seem to be making a return from Boneworks, including null bodies, crablets, and cleanup crew, with the addition of a new skeleton enemy. Unfortunately, Ford is not really anywhere to be seen in this trailer. That being said, only a few enemies were shown to begin with, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in the final version of the game anyway. You can pretty much defeat these enemies with any weapon you want. There will be a wide variety of exotic physics weapons, melee weapons, and ranged weapons, as well as just using your fists. Aside from frying pans and guns, there also seems to be a new physics gun that lets you use some sort of telekinetic ability to control objects. To test these different weapons against different enemies, there will be a sandbox mode, an arena mode, and a tactical trial mode. In sandbox mode, you will be allowed to create and test your own combat scenarios, and you will be able to spawn each and every different kind of enemy and weapon to do so. Tactical trial will probably put you through a small obstacle course full of enemies to defeat them, well, tactically. And arena mode will most likely put you up against waves of enemies of various difficulties ranging from crablets to skeletons and so on. These 3 modes sound incredible, but the one that's really going to be interesting is one I haven't mentioned yet, mods. Mods will be natively supported in the game, meaning that you won't have to go through the painstaking process of modding a game with a PC, and instead mods will just be available within a menu that's already part of the game. Apart from mods, you'll probably also be able to download different skins, enemies, and weapons, so with what little information we've been given, this will be really interesting. A couple months ago, Brandon from Stress Level 0 tweeted that Bonelab in its current state is completely playable, and it actually has been for quite a while. The only things holding them back from releasing it right now are feature additions, polishes, and bug fixes. The soundtrack for the game has recently been completed, but a couple days ago, Stress Level 0 posted a video teasing something way more exciting. We're finally getting vehicles, more specifically a go-kart. Vehicles was one of the few things that Boneworks really needed but didn't have. In the video, someone's just driving around a little course with a gun and shooting enemies. It looks like a lot of fun. So that brings us to today. We have no idea when this game is going to release, but expect it around the Meta Connect. I know it's almost a month away, but hang in there, it's gonna be worth it. As of mid-September 2022, that is pretty much everything significant we've learned about the game so far. I'm super excited for this game to come out, and like seriously, it's been long enough, but I'm glad they put in the thought to polish it before giving it to us. This is Justin from Alternate Reality, signing off for now. See ya.